Her response stunned me. I was taken aback not by her anger, but her fierce sense of pride in being Shanghainese. After the initial shock, I asked her, "What is the difference between Mandarin and Shanghainese?" She responded with a tone of superiority. "Shanghainese is a language of culture and elegance." I reached into my pocket and pulled out two 100 RMB bills, a sum that was likely more than she could hope to receive in a month as a beggar. I handed the money to her and said, "Sister, I will return next Sunday at 10 a.m. and I will bring another 200 RMB for you." Her expression softened ever so slightly, and with a sly grin, she replied, "Foreign devils are always welcome." What arrogance, I thought to myself as I walked away, but also what confidence. My brain was already piecing together a plan. Her surname was Wang, and from that point on, I called her Xiao Wang, or Little Wang. Footnote 30. Little, old, big, fat are common words put in front of Chinese surnames to give reference points when speaking a person's name. It is simply the way it is. We return. I started work, and of course I was the only foreigner, or Lao Wai, in the office. Footnote 31. Lao Wai is an everyday slang term for foreigner. The only person above me was a man from Hong Kong who endlessly complained about the lack of lattes in the entire city. He was a short, pudgy man who clearly looked down on the local staff. Meanwhile, I made it my mission to ingratiate myself with them. From that point forward, cakes and small sweets were the norm every Friday afternoon. I knew they were not paid anywhere near what I was earning. It meant a lot to them that I treated them as equals. Of course they were equals. All insects are equal. All insects are unimportant. The first few days were about learning the ropes, understanding what the company did, and how we worked with our clients, who represented some of the world's top luxury brands. It was exciting for about 2 days. I had already done similar work in Taiwan and was pleased to see that some of my colleagues from there had also relocated to Shanghai. I knew I could handle this job with ease. The pressing issue, however, was finding a suitable apartment. This wasn't Taiwan. The housing options I found were substandard, expensive, and limited to buildings that allowed foreigners. After a frustrating search, I finally settled on a place. It was quite large, slightly remote, but all mine. It even had an extra room and a spacious balcony. I felt fortunate. That Sunday, I found myself back at Fuxing Park. It was easy to locate Xiao Wang. Our conversation went like this. "Xiao Wang, as promised, I have returned." "The people of China rejoice at your return," she replied dryly. "I have a job for you if you're interested." "I already have a job at a factory kitchen during the week, and on Sundays I come to Fuxing Park for the fresh air. I don't need another job." "Well, I need someone to teach me Shanghainese, to cook, to clean, and I will pay you far more than what you make at the factory. You will never need to beg again." She looked at me, considering, and asked how much. I told her the salary, explained what I needed, and before long we had reached an agreement. She would move into my spare room 3 days later. As I walked away, I thought to myself how surprisingly easy it had been. 3 days later, I returned home from work to find Xiao Wang waiting outside my building with another woman. "This is my younger sister," she said. "She will also live with us." I paused, considering if I refused, I might lose Xiao Wang altogether. The apartment was certainly large enough, and I had no energy to argue. Looking at them both, I asked, "What should I call your sister?" "She is Xiao Wang. I am Xiao Wang. We are both Xiao Wang," she replied matter-of-factly. And that was that. From that point on, and for the next 9 years, the Wang sisters became my tutors, my cooks, my cleaners, and eventually they also shared my bed. Throughout it all, I referred to them both as Xiao Wang. As my fortune grew, so did theirs. The sisters were also my gateway into Shanghainese culture, teaching me its unique mannerisms and culinary delights. Thanks to them, I became proficient in Shanghainese. Reflecting upon my time with them, I often wonder how different my Shanghai experience would have been without their presence. I vividly remember times when I was bedridden with high fevers, and they cared for me with unwavering dedication. Having a home to return to, with people who offered companionship and warmth, gave me a sense of family I had been missing my entire life. As I reflect upon my youth, growing up isolated, alone, and deprived of affection, living with these two sisters started me on a path of emotional healing. Though they weren't worldly or highly educated, their simple kindness and pragmatic approach to life left a lasting mark on me. But living with them was also a highly unique experience. They had a know-it-all attitude that was usually so over the top as to approach the realm of ridiculousness. Yes, those two women could also be extremely argumentative and as such quite frustrating. But they were mine, and I was theirs, and knowing that they were there when I came home filled me with happiness. Eve certainly guided me to becoming the man I am today. But as I write this chapter, there can be no doubt that these two sisters also played a part in it. Professionally, I worked hard and climbed the ladder. The fat boss from Hong Kong eventually moved on, and I was promoted to lead the team in Shanghai. Soon my role expanded again, and I was traveling, meeting people, and achieving success. But outside work, I didn't socialize very much. There were plenty of wannabe models, as is the nature of the luxury branding industry, so I never lacked for companionship. The Wang sisters, however, were relentless in criticizing my taste. "This one has small eyes," they would say, or "that one has a giant head." Despite their teasing, they were always there when I wasn't entertaining, and we shared a symbiotic relationship. Over time, I switched companies and continued climbing the corporate ladder. But as the years passed, I began to feel a growing emptiness. I couldn't shake the feeling that there had to be more to life. I just didn't know yet where that change would come from or what it would look like.